Hi guys, welcome back to Fernbus, where last time we completed the trip back from Hanover to Erfurt, and now we're going to set up our next route going from Erfurt to Berlin. So we'll do that now. So we need a new route, and we'll go Erfurt to Berlin. We'll call that Route 3, and Berlin is going to be our eastern hub. So we need the distance of 330 and travel time of 343 for our spreadsheet. So it will be Erfurt to Berlin. This is the definitions tab, so this will define this for any route which uses Erfurt to Berlin in the future. Now, ticket prices need to be a bit more than we had for the previous one because this is a bit longer, so the costs will be a bit more. So let's go $29.99 if they buy in advance, $34.75 if they don't. That will do us. Okay, that's fine. So this is going to be Route 3, Erfurt to Berlin. Okay, so just check that time in Fernbus was 3:43 and it's 330 kilometers. So 3:43, 330 kilometers, and I'll just check the prices I set. $29.99, $34.75. Okay, $29.99. Oops, click the right one. $29.99. $34.75. So you can always check back and just make sure you've got them right. So in the results tab, I just need to set Route 3. Okay, that should have pulled through. So I can check my routes list that is in there, that's fine. And if I check tab 3.4, Erfurt to Berlin has pulled in there. You can see in here I've pulled through I've actually typed in a different start time, 10:07, so that all the buses don't start at 10:02 from Erfurt, and we've got that creates a finish time of 13:50, but the finish time is missing from below, so I'm just going to copy those down because they ought to be down below as well. It's actually a formula, so if you change this time in here, so if I were to change that to 10:02, it will actually change the end time. But what I'll do is I'll put that back to 10:07 for now, because we'll probably have 10:07 coming back out of Berlin, getting back to Erfurt at 13:50, but we'll see. We've got it running all 7 days of the week, so that's fine. So basically, if you type in the time here, it calculates the finishing time depending on what time you've got in the routes tab. So that's how that works effectively, but it's working, it's fine in there. In fact, the formula was in there. I think it was just blank. Yeah, it's fine, it was in there anyway. I don't know why I bothered about that. Actually, it was in there anyway, so I could have left that. It's fine, not to worry, it's fine. Okay, we're fine. So we can go to results. So we're ready to put in the number of passengers once we pick them up in Fernbus. So we should be at the depot in Erfurt, ready to go down and pick up our passengers. So let's save our route. We're in realistic mode, start the game. We should be at the depot in Erfurt, all ready to go, hopefully. Just need to set up the bus and go pick them up. Let's hope there's a few there, more the better, makes us more money. Nice when we get there if we've got at least one or two want to buy tickets rather than got them in advance, because that makes us more. Now just turn all these on. As I said before, I'm not bothered about playing the announcement. I'll log into the smartphone ready for when we get there. Okay, that should have us all ready. Put us in gear. This one's a slightly longer journey than Hanover, but not a lot, so it shouldn't take us much longer than before. Hopefully we'll be lucky with traffic lights. We were there. Just make sure we're not speeding. That light was green, just changed to red. So you can see the spreadsheet's pretty easy to use. It doesn't take very long to set your routes up. So in terms of extra work over what you have to do in Fernbus, it's very little work to do. The only hard bit is when you get to longer routes with more stops. You can imagine if you start, say, at Erfurt with about 5 stops, you're going to have people getting on who are going to all the different stops. So you perhaps need a pen and paper or something to just note how many are going to which stops. That's the only bit where it gets a little bit more difficult to do. But even that's not exactly rocket science. I mean, it's just... you just need to be able to know how many are going where when you get on the bus. Assuming you've set different ticket rates, of course. But one assumes you would. You don't have to. I mean, you can set whatever ticket rates wherever you like. It's entirely up to you. You could have a route with, say, 9 stops and 3 ticket rates. So the same ticket rate applies to the first 3 stops, and then the same ticket rate to the next 3, and then the same rate to the next 3. I mean, it's entirely up to you. You can do it any way you like. I think it's what they call fare stops in bus terminology, where the fare doesn't change until you reach what's called a fare stop, where that stop then changes the fare, so the same fare can apply to a number of different stops. Depends entirely how you want to do it. You can make it as simple or as complicated as you want. You can have up to 10 different fares per route. If you're using discounts on every fare, that means basically 5 fares discounted, 5 different discounted rates, so still a fair amount of flexibility. You might have some discounted, some not. Typically maybe the fare from the beginning right to the end of the route might not be discounted, or a short one, which is very short, like maybe Frankfurt to Frankfurt Airport, which might be only $9.99 or something. You might not bother to discount that because it's such a short one. So there's lots of flexibility in how you set the fares. You can do it any way you like. Most important thing is they're set in a way that at the end of the day generates a profit, because that's the key thing. Any bus company has to make a profit at the end of the day, or at the very least break even, but ideally make a profit, because if they didn't make a profit for their shareholders, well, they wouldn't be in business. What their profit margin should be, I don't know. It'd be interesting to know what a typical bus company's profit margin is. I guess 20 to 30%, something like that. But that's a wild guess. I mean, anybody out there knows, let us know. suppose it could be as high as 35–40%. I mean, and I guess it can vary depending on fuel prices, which depend on oil prices, and they depend on all sorts of things. So those horns are going off a lot, I must say. As I said in the last video, I've never noticed them before because normally listening to the radio, but when you haven't got the radio because you're recording for YouTube, you really notice those horns. The AI is obviously impatient, blasting their horns because they're trying to get around the city. Okay, here's the Bahnhof. It does seem like every bus from Erfurt's going to go from the same stop, which is why I've set it at a different time, because otherwise every bus would be trying to go from here at exactly the same moment. Quite a few people here, so Berlin, being the capital, of course, might be quite popular, I guess. Any ticket buyers? Yeah, one over there, I think. Or maybe two. Right, let's see what we've got. Who's this? Okay, Selena. Yeah, you're on there. That's one.
Servus, fahren Sie in meine Richtung?
Erfurt to Berlin. Rudy. Two. Who are you, madam? Erfurt to Berlin. Bella. That's three. Who's this at the back? Erfurt to Berlin. Lola. Four. Right, one wants a ticket. Let's go here.
Mahlzeit, hier ist mein Ticket.
Bielefeld. No, mate.
Da habe ich mich wohl vertan. Servus, ich hoffe, ich bin hier richtig.
Erfurt to Berlin. Santino. Right, that's five, isn't it?
Hier ist mein Ticket.
Erfurt to Berlin. Six.
Dankeschön. Moin, das Ticket. Bitteschön.
Erfurt to Berlin. Seven.
Ciao, fahren Sie in meine Richtung?
Erfurt to Berlin. Well, you don't seem to be on the list, but you're on there. So that's eight, I think.
Mahlzeit, bitte sehr.
Henrik, that's nine.
Vielen Dank. Mahlzeit, bitte sehr.
Erfurt to Berlin. Lou will be 10.
Vielen Dank.
Ciao, ich hoffe, ich bin hier richtig.
Melina, you'll be 11.
Sehr freundlich.
Right, so that's 11. And now we've got two people who want to buy tickets.
Guten Tag, ich würde gerne ein Ticket kaufen.
You can buy a ticket.
Sehr freundlich.
Welcome. Do you want to go Berlin?
Hallo, ich müsste noch ein Ticket
Oh,
bei Ihnen
yes.
kaufen.
Result.
Auf geht's.
Okay, so we had 11 people who had tickets already and 2 bought tickets. We should have 13 people on this bus. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Excellent. Always nice to check. Okay, so let's just pause that, go to our spreadsheet. Okay, so we've got 11 who had tickets already and 2 who bought them. So we should be making a pretty healthy profit, I would have thought. Assuming we end up on time, we'll have made €135 on this trip. That's better. That's more like what we want. So we can skip to a minute before departure. Start the ride and see if we can get there on time. Now I'm pretty sure there was no rest stop. Let's just check. No, there's no rest stop. I didn't think there would be. It's not 4 hours. So that's okay. So we don't have to worry about stopping to rest anywhere. If we don't get any police checks, we should be able to get a fairly straight run, hopefully. Can't see the lights from there, so let's... Okay, that'll do us, on we go. We were doing well with traffic lights until then. It's not too bad though. Okay, so out on the road to Berlin. I do like the scenery in Fernbus. I don't know Germany that well to know how realistic it is, but I imagine it's pretty good. Looks nice. Saying in the last video, the trip up to Treff Hotel Panorama is nice. It's a nice scenery, a very windy road, a bit challenging drive, but it's nice scenery up there. And some of this Austria, Switzerland is pretty good. Anyway, let's try and get to Berlin, see if we can do this on time. We've got 3 hours. We might need all of it. 80 limit here. Going down to 70. Probably ought to have lights on in the tunnel, I think. Even if technically you legally shouldn't have them on, I think I'm going to, because it makes it done so easy to see. And I can see the speedo easier to make sure I'm not speeding. Though I've not yet had radar traps in the tunnel, but I wouldn't put it past it. I wouldn't say it's impossible for it to happen. I'm not sure, but I think we have to turn off up here. Yes, we do. I'm pretty sure when I did this route once before, I went straight on here, which ended up in a much longer journey. It's supposed to go off here, and I'm pretty sure I didn't. So this time I'm going to. You go off there and straight on this road. If you stay on there, you end up going much longer way. You have to go up here round this loop and off to the left on a different motorway. I ended up going via Leipzig, I think, possibly. Maybe not. Like somewhere. Dresden, I think. I think it went via Dresden and took me a much longer route to get to Berlin and made me late. And I don't want to do that because that will lose 10% of my income. So if we go this way via Leipzig, I think that's the right way to go. Well, not necessarily via Leipzig, but towards Leipzig anyway. You can always hit M and check the map if you want to check where your route's going, but follow the sat-nav and you shouldn't be far wrong. Road network's pretty darn good in Germany, you got to say. Berlin on the signpost there, Berlin and Leipzig. The only thing I sometimes find is you need to get in lane quite early for some of these junctions. You need to watch the AI because they can be coming up behind you quite fast and they'll go straight into you. So you need to be a bit careful about changing lanes. So we haven't had any police checks as yet. If you're not familiar with what I mean, hopefully we'll see one. I don't mean police driving by like that. It's when you're passing a services and you'll see a big red symbol in the road. You have no choice but to pull off into the services and let them check you. Hopefully it'll happen at some point and you'll see it. I mean, it doesn't take long, it doesn't take much out of your schedule, it doesn't normally make you late. It can get a bit frustrating when you get 2 and 3 on one route, and it does happen. You think, do you really need to check me 2 or 3 times on the same route? But there you go, it happens. You'd have thought once is enough, but there you go. Surely they could talk to each other on their radio and say who they've checked and who they haven't, but whatever. Not going to argue with them, they are the Polizei after all. Now Berlin is in those lanes out there, I reckon. So I'm going to move out. So if you don't move out quite early, I think if you're not careful, you can get stuck in the lane over there and find it hard to get out. So in that junction, I might have been alright anyway. Some of them, it goes 2 lanes going off, 2 lanes going on. You need to be out here. So I was sort of being a bit cautious and getting out there early, really. It's hard to believe that things are going to keep going this smoothly. I've got to say, something's going to go awfully wrong shortly, because this is going far too well. And the AI is not doing anything terribly freaky at the moment. We're not getting checked by the police. I mean, there's really not a lot happening. I'm not getting lost and taking wrong turns, which is unusual for me. We're completing routes pretty much on time. Something's got to go hopelessly wrong any minute. It's got to. Let's hope not, but you just get the feeling that disaster is just around the corner. Like him. Somebody's going to slam their brakes on in the middle of a fast lane for no apparent reason and cause chaos. That's happened before. I've had to swerve into a lane to go round them, and in doing that somebody coming up behind's gone straight in the back of me and all hell breaks loose. Passengers get extremely annoyed with me, and I'm saying, well, what could I do? What do you want me to do? Moan at the guy in front who decided to slam his brakes on. They usually moan because they say they've spilled their coffee or something. I mean, well, sorry. What was I supposed to do? Don't pull out. Thank you. Just don't trust them. You can't trust them not to do weird things. I mean, you're paranoid about them after a while. When we get to longer routes with rest stops, I've got a tip for you about rest stops, but we'll save that for when we get to them. But it's a tip about where you can rest and where you can't, because lots of people have complained there's not enough rest stops in the game, but there is a way around it. And when we get to the point where we need them, I'll show you a way round it, hopefully. Seems to work. Well, at least it works sometimes, let's put it that way. Start moving into this right hand lane, because I think fairly soon we're going to be thinking about turning off towards Berlin, and I'd rather be over here than stuck out there somewhere. That said, there might be another junction before the Potsdam junction, so whether I'll need to move out because of that, I'm not sure. We'll see. Hopefully I'll be able to negotiate. Go on, mate. Yeah, you were going to come out of there no matter what, so you do have to watch them coming out of those slip roads. I generally find it's best to just brake and let them go, because they will tend to come out whether you're there or not. For the main road to Berlin, it seems pretty quiet for traffic. I've expected it to be a bit busier than this, especially at midday. But it's not exactly chock-a-block with traffic, is it? Not by any means. Now we have a police check coming up. I can see the symbol in front of us. So this is what I was talking about. So some services coming up, and you can see a big red symbol, and there will be a barrier in the road. It's quite hard to see. You can see that big red circle, which will say Polizei or Polizei on it. Police, stop, and you will see those red symbols going across the road. Basically, you can't drive through that. You have to go into here, and you go into here, and you drive down here until you will see another red symbol. If we did need a rest stop, there is actually a resting place here, but we don't need one, so that's neither here nor there. But so this is a police stop here, and all you have to do is drive up to this red symbol. Don't actually have to stop as such, just drive onto it like that. There you go, and they will check our documents. Check we've got a hazard triangle. Here we have. I've got a reflective vest, yes. 11 of our 13 passengers are strapped in. Why 2 aren't, I don't know, but there you go. Tachograph's alright, we can go. So why 2 of the passengers haven't got their seatbelt on, I don't know. But apparently it's alright. One assumes the policeman said, "Can you put your seatbelts on, please?" And they did, and he said, "Fine." Or words to that effect. So you can see it doesn't take long, but 2 or 3 of them on one journey is a little bit annoying. One, that's okay. When they stop you 2 or 3 times on the same journey, you think, what, really? You really need to do it 2 or 3 times? Well, if you do 500 kilometres and they do it twice, I suppose that's not so bad, but 3? Really? 3 times? But hey, you know, what can you do? So we've got 80 odd kilometres to go, and I have to say, plenty of time really, hour and a quarter. So we shouldn't have a problem. Shouldn't. Famous last words. We should be alright here, but I still do think we've got the Potsdam junction to go when I need to be out in that middle lane. So I'm going to move out, because I think I've got to be out here, because I've got to go past the Potsdam junction, I'm sure. If I'm wrong, I can always get back in that lane, but I'm pretty sure we have to go past the Potsdam junction. He's not hanging about. I think this is the Potsdam junction coming up. Oh no, maybe I need that junction actually. There you go, I was wrong. If I'd have stayed out there, I'd have been going to Hamburg or Rostock. Maybe it's the next road where you go off to Potsdam. Anyway, I've got to go off here. down the Ausfahrt. Berlin and Dresden. We don't want Dresden, that's going back the way we come. Oh, watch it, mate. Thank you. You have to be a bit careful about joining these roads sometimes. Is he going to let us out? Yes, he is. I wasn't 100% convinced, but... Right, Berlin and Potsdam in this lane. According to plan so far. So we weren't on that road long. That's the road that goes back the way we've come towards Dresden. We want this away. We are coming into Berlin, I think, or outskirts thereof anyway. Right, there's the Potsdam turn. Pretty sure I don't want. False. I'm pretty sure I've got to be out here. Move in one lane. Some of those cars weren't hanging about that went past us there. I think the coaches have 100km/h speed limit, but I think some of these cars, this is an autobahn, don't they have no speed limit? They can do what speed they like? Or 130 or something. They're not hanging about, let's put it that way. So we are only 20 odd kilometres out. With well over half an hour to go, so I think we're fine, and we're coming into Berlin, so we should see the city of Berlin very shortly. And as I say, Berlin has a much bigger bus station than what we've seen so far. Frankfurt Airport is an interesting one if you've not driven there. It's got 2 levels. When you arrive at the airport, you arrive at departures, if you see what I mean. You drop your people off there, and then to pick up your next lot, you go to arrivals, where you pick up to depart, see what I mean, and that's down below, so you have to go down a loop which takes you down to the lower level to pick up the people down there, and it's quite confusing on the sat-nav because the sat-nav doesn't show the lower level because it's not 3D, so it looks like it's just down the road when actually you've got to go along and turn off and go down a level and so on. But we'll get to that at some point. Perhaps when we do Treff Hotel, we'll go to Frankfurt Airport and we'll do the upper and lower levels and all that stuff. You see a bus stop marked back there we just came by, that's not us. It's another bus stop, but it's not us. Don't get confused by other bus stops that are marked. You don't need to worry about them, you only need to worry about the one that's marked on the sat-nav, and it's in the bus station. Or the Zob, I think. It's not a Zob, it's a Hof, a Bahnhof or whatever. So there's a bus stop marked to our right here, but that's not where we're going. That is not us. We're going here. And you need to approach fairly slowly because there are barriers. Automatic barriers, but barriers nonetheless. And once they've lifted up, we have to pop in here and follow this down. Go down to the end of this and you can see the stop in front of us. And we are 15 minutes early. Happy passengers, I would think.
Überpünktlich. Das ist ja kaum zu glauben.
Before schedule, I can't believe it. Well, believe it, madam, because it's true. And there you are, you can get your bags. What's that? That appears to be a bench just fallen over. Most peculiar. Okay. I'm not really quite sure what happened there, but not to worry. Right, so we can log out of that. We can get our spreadsheet back, and we can quite definitely say that we were on time. In fact, we were 15 minutes early. So we've made €177. So if we go to our summary sheet now, that's our €177 in total. So what did we make on that particular run? 135. We made 135 on that run, and our balance total profit so far 177. Not bad, not bad. 829 income against 651 costs out of 34 passengers. Well, as if we're fleecing them, are we? But we're doing alright. We're doing okay. So next time we will do Berlin back to Erfurt and see how that goes, and that will be our Eastern hub set up. So I'll see you then. Take care. Bye bye now.